Welcome to the Student Academic Learning Services video on mixed numbers. In this video we're going to look at what mixed numbers are. We're going to look at a couple of examples of how to add and subtract mixed numbers, as well as how to multiply and divide them. Here's an example of a mixed number. We can see we have 2 wholes and 1/3. Okay. Now if we wanted to convert this to an improper fraction, the way we do that is we take our whole number here, the 2, multiply by 3, and then we add the 1. So 2 times 3 is 6, plus 1 is 7 over 3. Now if we want to convert that back into a mixed number, we take the 7 and divide it by 3. So 3 will go into 7 twice, with 1 left over. Okay, this conversion is going to be more important when we look at the multiplication and division examples of mixed numbers. So it's just a good idea to keep that in mind as we go through this video. Okay, let's take a look at our first example here. This is an addition problem. So we have 3 1/3 plus 7 2/4. I've included our method up here. And step 1 is going to be adding the whole numbers. Okay, so 3 plus 7 gives us 10. And we're just going to copy down the 2 fractions, 1/3 and 2/4. Now moving on to step 2, which is reducing the fractions if possible. Well, 1/3 is already in lowest terms, we can't do anything with that, but 2/4 we can reduce down. Right, 4 is actually just 2 times 2. So we can 10 1/3 plus 2 over 2 times 2. 2 on the bottom and the 2 on the top cancel out, and we're left with 10 1/3 plus 1/2. Moving right along to step 3, we're going to add the fractions together. So we look at our denominators, 3 and 2, and we just think of the multiples, or you can write them out if you'd like. The lowest common multiple here is going to be 6 between the two, so that's going to be our lowest common denominator. Multiply 3 by 2, so we need to multiply that 1 by 2. Multiply 2 by 3 to get 6, so we need to multiply 1 by 3. 1 times 2 is 2, plus 1 times 3 is 3. We're going to add those fractions together, and we're going to get 10 and 5 over 6. Okay. Lastly, we're just going to double check and make sure that we're in lowest terms. There are no numbers that divide into both 5 and 6 evenly, except for 1, but again, 1's not going to change our fraction. So we can state that 10 and 5 over 6 is in lowest terms. And I'm going to point out, should you have a subtraction problem, you follow this exact same method, except for when you add, you would subtract. So in step 1, you would subtract the whole numbers, and in step 3, you would subtract the fractions. The rest of the method is the exact same. Let's take a look at this multiplication example. Here we have 5 and 1 over 3 times 3 and 3 over 8. I have included our method up here in the corner. So step 1 is converting the mixed numbers into improper fractions. So 5 times 3 is 15, plus 1 is 16 over 3, times 3 times 8 is 24, plus 3 is 27. So we have 27 over 8. Our next step in the process is to multiply the fractions. Now we don't want to multiply these fractions, as 16 times 27 is math that I don't really want to do. So we're going to break these into some smaller prime factors. So 16 breaks into 2 times 8, which breaks into 2 times 4, which breaks into 2 times 2. And we're just going to circle our prime factors so we remember them. 27 breaks down to 3 times 9, and 9 breaks down into 3 times 3. 8 breaks into 2 times 4 and 2 times 2. And we'll just circle these so we don't forget them. And our 3 over here is already a prime factor, so we don't have to do anything with it. So 16 was 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. And then 27 was 3 times 3 times 3. Our denominator was 3 times, and then 8 was 2 times 2 times 2. We're going to cancel out 3 2's on the top because we have 3 2's on the bottom. And we're going to cancel this 3 on the bottom with one of the 3's on the top. That leaves us with 2 times 3 times 3. We multiply this out. 2 times 3 is 6. Times 3 is 18. Now this obviously isn't a fraction, so we can't really reduce that. So we know automatically that we're in lowest terms. Just before we wrap this video up, I wanted to mention that the division process for mixed numbers is almost the same, just as the addition and subtraction methods are the same, or close to the same. You still convert mixed numbers to improper fractions if you're dividing, and then you just follow the dividing fractions method instead of the multiplying fractions method. That's the only difference. That concludes our video on mixed numbers. If you have any questions regarding this material, please come by the SALS Center located in room 204 of the Student Services Building and make an appointment with the appropriate learning skills advisor. Thanks for watching.